My dad was in human resources at Cryovac, and he talks about how they wanted to integrate their workforce. And so he and the plant manager went and met with, I believe the gentleman's name was Dr. Anderson, that was the school superintendent for the black schools in Greenville County. And they talked to him about what they wanted to do and how they thought it was important, but they wanted it to be successful. And so they worked with him, and he would talk about when they opened up to take applications, and he said to me this after we started talking about this. He said they had their pictures on there, and I thought that's really interesting because today you certainly couldn't have a picture on an application. But they would take those applications, and then Dr. Anderson, who was from the school district, would help review them and talk about people he believed would be a good fit and people who came from families with good work ethics. And he even says that they talked about picking the first group of employees to be from south of I-85 rather than north of I-85. And I said, why? And he said, well, because if you were raised south of I-85 as an African-American family, you were probably, it was a agricultural, rural, you'd probably grown up on a farm, you had done a lot of hard work, versus people who live north of 85 might have been in the city, and they might have been in neighborhoods that might not have been so positive, so they could have had a lot more, not the work ethic. So they handpicked their first group of employees and brought them into the workplace. And then later, several years after that, they put in place a GED program for their employees, and I can remember him going to graduations, and the gentleman I mentioned earlier, Mr. Houston, he and his wife, who were so proud that they both worked there and they both had gotten their GEDs. And they created a culture where those first employees at Cryovac's kids always wanted to go to work at Cryovac, and the company had been really positive in giving them jobs that made more money and them being successful.